Spoštovani veleposlanik Republike Poljske v Sloveniji, Vaša Ekscelenca Krzysztof Olenski, the Ambassador of the Republic of Poland to Slovenia, Your Excellency Krzysztof Olenski, spoštovani gospod Bogdan Toropcev, predstavnik ukrajinskega veleposlaništva, dear representative of Ukraine Embassy, Bogdan Toropcev, spoštovani vodja oddelka za izobraževanje Muzeja Varšavske vstaje, Karol Mazur, the head of the Education Department of the Warsaw Rising Museum, Karol Mazur, cenjeni obiskovalci, dragi prijatelji, esteemed visitors, dear friends. Lepo pozdravljeni vsi skupaj na odprtju razstave ob 80-letnici Varšavske vstaje, ki predstavlja uvod v letošnjo poletno muzejsko noč. A warm welcome to everyone at the opening of the exhibition marking the 80th anniversary of the Warsaw Rising, which represents an introduction to this year's Museum Summer Night. V Sloveniji, pa tudi drugod po Evropi, boste pogosto slišali mnenje raznih kulturnih delavcev, da vojaški muzeji nekako nismo pravi muzeji, da prikazovanje vojaške zgodovine ne sodi v muzej kot prebivališče mus, kjer se prikazujejo lepe umetnosti in druge stvaritve človekovega duha. Kaj neki naj bi torej imela Varšavska vstaja s temi muzami in zakaj se velja po 80 letih spominjati enega najbolj tragičnih ter pretresljivih poglavij poljske zgodovine? Poglavja, polnega neskončnega trpljenja, potokov krvi vojakov domovinske armade in krvi ter solz žena, otrok, starcev. Poglavja, polnega ruševin uničenega mesta in dima sežganih trupel. A Varšavska vstaja je več kot to. Gre za pravi izbruh junaštva, ljubezni do domovine, ljubezni do svobode, zavezanosti demokraciji. In muze teh vrlin so v zgodovini stale, stojijo in bodo vedno stale v prvi, najbolj častni vrsti muz. Zato izražam veselje in le s težavo skrivam ponos ekipe Parka vojaške zgodovine, da lahko gostimo to razstavo, katere odprtje je zaznamovalo letošnjo muzejsko noč, njena postavitev pa bo obogatila celo letošnjo sezono našega muzeja. In Slovenija, as well as elsewhere in Europe, various cultural workers often express the opinion that military museums are somehow not real museums. The displaying military history does not belong in a museum as a dwelling place of the muses, where fine arts and other creations of the human spirit are exhibited. So what should the Warsaw Rising have to do with these muses? And why it is worth remembering one of the most tragic and shocking chapters of Polish history 80 years later? A chapter full of harrowing suffering, rivers of blood of the soldiers of Armia Krajowa, and blood and tears of women, children, and elderly. A chapter full of the ruins of the destroyed city and the smoke of burned bodies. But the Warsaw Rising is more than that. It's a true outburst of heroism, love for the homeland, love for freedom, and commitment to democracy. And the muses of these virtues have stood, stand, and will always stand in the first, most honorable rank of the muses. Therefore, I express our joy and with difficulty hide the pride of the team of the Park of Military History that we can host this exhibition, whose opening has marked this year's Museum Summer Night and whose installation will enrich the entire season of our museum. Idejo za postavitev razstave je dal poljski veleposlanik v Republiki Sloveniji, njegova ekscelenca Krzysztof Olenski, ki ga prijazno vabim k slavnostnemu nagovoru. The idea for the exhibition was given by the Polish ambassador to the Republic of Slovenia, His Excellency Krzysztof Olenski, whom I kindly invite to give the ceremonial address. Please.
Dobar dan, dobrodošli, gospod direktor Janko Boštjančič, ja, dr. Karol Mazur, doktorica Alija Bergles, gospod Bogdan Toropcev, dame in gospodje, dragi prijatelji, I am really touched and I am really very happy to be here this afternoon for the inauguration of the exhibit dedicated to Warsaw Uprising 1944. First of all, I would like to express all my gratitude to two very important European cultural institutions. Military Park of Piłka from Slovenia and the Museum of Warsaw Uprising from Poland. Those two institutions, those two cultural institutions, are not only museums. They are kind of custodians of the memory of our common European history. They are custodians of the European legacy of the past for the better future. Both museums are created just to tell the story about what happened in Europe and how much it was important, the military history, to understand our presence. Let me then express all my gratitude to Director Janko Bostiancic and representative of the Museum of the Warsaw Uprising, Dr. Karol Mazur, that you've both just decided to place this exhibit here in Piłka. This unusual exhibition is dedicated to Warsaw Uprising 1944. The Warsaw Uprising 1944 was not a simple military operation. It was the fight of the entire population of Warsaw, the fight of the entire nation for its dignity, for the dignity of every human being, fight for freedom and the democracy at the end. In the 23rd of August 1939, Nazi Germany and Soviet Russia decided to sign up the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact. The aim of this pact was not only to divide and to share Europe between those two states, those two regimes, those two totalitarianism, but it was first of all to divide Poland between them, just to tear Poland into two parts, the German one and the Russian one. They wanted just to establish the frontier on the Vistula River. They wanted to divide Warsaw into the Nazi part and the communist part, Soviet part. The 1st September 1939, Germany, Nazi Germany attacked Poland. Just 17 days after, Soviet Russia attacked Poland, and they killed Polish state. They occupied Polish territory, and they started the policy of occupation, the policy which was marked by the genocide on the Polish nation. The first plan to divide Poland in two and having Vistula River as a frontier between Soviet Russia and Nazi Germany hadn't been realized. So entire Warsaw came under the German occupation. And Germans inside the policy of the totalitarian regime, they realized the most cruel occupation regime over Poland. Firstly, they divided the population of the city, just closing up all the Jewish population in a ghetto. So the 1/3 of the city was closed behind the walls. Then they started to realize the policy of diminishing the city and transforming it into a small provincial town. So they decided the Warsaw must be destroyed, the Warsaw must be murdered as a city, as a cultural center, as a center of Poland, as a center of Polish culture. When Germans started to lose the war and they were in the retreat in August 1944, and Russian troops were very close to Warsaw, the inhabitants of Warsaw, they decided that it cannot be like this. It cannot end up that Germans were killing the Poles during the entire occupation and now they are living. They decided just to end up with this totalitarian regime, with the Nazi occupation over Poland. It was not possible to hold them, to prevent them, to uprise and fight for their freedom and for their dignity. They hoped that Russians will come very soon and they jointly will make Warsaw, beautiful Warsaw, a free city. Instead of this, Russians decided to stop at the Vistula River and they were watching from the other side how the city is going to be murdered by Nazi Germans, how houses are going to be destroyed and turned to ruins. The history of the Warsaw Uprising is the history of the heroic fight for freedom, for dignity of every and each of its citizens. Today, when we are thinking about the fate of Warsaw, we are having before our eyes the bold fight of the Ukrainian nation for their freedom and for their dignity. In fact, there is not a much difference between the Russian invasion and the Russian policy of the occupation that they are realizing over Ukrainian territories in Kharkiv and in the other places than the policy realized by totalitarian regimes of Germany and Russia at the time of the Warsaw Uprising. The fate of Europe, the future of Europe, the security of Europe, today is decided there in Ukraine. It's not decided in Gaza. It's not decided by Hamas. It is taking the actions because of the Russian and Iranian politics. The future of Europe is decided in Ukraine. That's why, remembering of Warsaw Uprising, we must stand with Ukraine. Please be welcomed to learn this story of the Warsaw Uprising. Thank you very much.
Hvala, gospod veleposlanik, za nagovor, za tole razstavo, pa tudi za vso podporo, ki jo izkazujete našemu muzeju. Thank you, Your Excellency, for your speech, for this exhibition and for all the support you have shown to our museum. Lepa hvala tudi našemu glasbeniku Matevžu Šantlju, ki je z nastopom na saksofonu pospremil tolo slovesnost. Odličen si bil, Matevž, hvala. Prisrčno zahvalo smo dolžni tudi gospe Bogomili Plahtej Pavlin, ki je od vsega začetka koordinirala vse aktivnosti povezane z izvedbo tega projekta. Hvala avtorski ekipi Muzeja Varšavske vstaje, prevajalki Tini Podržaj, oblikovalcu Matjažu Kuncu in Loreni Jaksetič za lekturo. Razstavo spremlja tudi film Varšavska vstaja 1944, ki bo predvajan danes 3-krat, potem pa bo ob sobotah in nedeljah pri nas vse do jeseni tukaj v komandi. Sledi prerez traku, s čimer bo gospod veleposlanik formalno odprl razstavo. Našemu projektu, pa tudi slovensko-poljskemu prijateljstvu bomo na to nazdravili. Zatem pa smo povabljeni, da prisluhnemo vodenju po razstavi strani gospoda doktorja Karola Mazurja. Vsem skupaj želim še naprej lepo muzejsko noč, polno muzejskih doživetij. Hvala, ker ste prišli. With the ribbon cutting ceremony, Mr. Ambassador will formally open the exhibition. We will then toast to our project and to Slovenian-Polish friendship. Afterward, Mr. Karol Mazur will guide us through the exhibition. I wish everyone a pleasant museum summer night full of museum experiences. Thank you for your coming.